Good evening. At this time, I'd like to call our regularly scheduled village board meeting to order. Let the record reflect that it's Tuesday, February 5, 2019, and it is 7:33 p.m. on the village clock. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Here.
Trustee Panito.
Here.
Trustee Berg.
Here.
Trustee Brady.
Here.
Trustee Glatz.
Here.
Trustee Curran.
Here.
And President Vandenberg.
Present. Thank you. Item number 1, at this time, I'd ask for a motion to consider approval of the agenda. Is there such a motion? Moved by Trustee Yonker. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Berg. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Thank you. Item number 2, at this time, I'd ask for a motion to consider approval of the minutes of the regular village board meeting that was held on January 15, 2019.
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Yonker. Is there a second? Seconded by Trustee Brady. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 3, Clerk Therian.
Mr. Charles O'Leary, Deputy Director of Resource Management at the Forest Preserve District of Cook County, is here to speak with us this evening. I'd like to welcome him.
Welcome, sir.
Hi, thank you. Good evening. Thank you for inviting me tonight. The good news, I am not asking you for anything. I'm just going to give you some information on the forest preserves. I hope that tonight I could tell you a little bit about the forest preserves you haven't heard before, and maybe if you don't know anything about it, I can tell you a little bit about that too. As folks know, we're a county-level government organization. Our mission here, sorry, let me see if I can get this to move. There we go. Our mission is a conservation mission. We're not a park district. We don't build playgrounds, but we have forests, prairies, savannas, open spaces for people to recreate in nature. We were established over 100 years ago. I don't know if folks know, we're the nation's largest urban conservation area, 69,000 acres. This is a map of Cook County you can see up on the board here. Sorry, that isn't working. But the green shapes are all the properties we own. We're kind of down in the very southwest here in Tinley Park. And we were created 100 years ago by visionaries, much like the Park District stuff along Lakeshore. Our county was originally teeny tiny settlements, and as you watch this map progress here, it'll change from generally a green map to a red map. What you see on the left is the original condition of the county, and what's on the right, the red, is urban development. So these visionaries kind of saved everything you see in green there is forest preserve. That's basically what's left in our county. So it's an amenity that's here for all of us to use. There's a lot of different things out there: woodlands, wetlands, savannas, prairies. On the conservation side, we harbor a lot of threatened and endangered species for the state of Illinois. We're the highest number of threatened and endangered species. We're actually a biodiversity hotspot for the state of Illinois. Even though we have 5 million people living in our county, we have some of the best stuff. We have animals that folks probably don't think of being in Cook County: river otters, bald eagles. We have 5 nesting pairs now. We provide ecosystem services such as absorbing water. We take on about 11% of the rainwater that hits Cook County, ends up on our preserves and stays in our preserves, stays out of the rivers, reduces flooding. We work on habitat restoration. And we are showing you a picture here of good versus the bad. Habitat restoration on the bad stuff on the left, good stuff on the right. We have volunteers who help preserve our properties. And we have a ton of outdoor recreation opportunities. Obviously, the preserves have had a lot of uses throughout the years. These are photographs going back to the turn of the century and onward. A lot of what we were used for originally was camping, but now we're moving into biking, fishing. We have 40 managed fishing lakes, 7 rivers, model boat areas, 3 aquatic centers where you could swim, paddling classes, etc. We also have 300 picnic groves where you can rent space there for family picnics. We do a lot of family reunions, 10 golf courses. Georgia Dunn is probably the closest to you guys here. 9 model airplane fields, driving ranges, off-leash areas, cross-country skiing. and a zip line course. If anybody's ever been traveling to see a zip line course, you can do it right here in Westchester, about 25 minutes up the road. We have 5 camping locations, including Camp Sullivan, which is literally right up Oak Park Ave. We revamped those 5 camping locations. We've always had camping, but we put a bond issue out 5 years ago and built a couple new campgrounds and refurbished the old ones. They look really great. You can go online or call us up and rent those locations. We have 6 nature centers. Here in Tinley Park, you're kind of lodged between Little Red Schoolhouse in Sagawau up in the Palos area and Sand Ridge in South Holland. We have education and outreach programs and events. This is a powwow up at Bussey Lake. And you can go online at fbdcc.com/events and see what's going on. We have events every day of the year, 365 days a year. You can find something you can tap into. Additionally, folks often don't know, but we do own and manage the Brookfield Zoo and the Chicago Botanic Garden. We have a partnership with nonprofits that do the daily management. We own the property and the buildings and fund it. A couple of things that are closest here to folks in Tinley Park. Bike trails, we have 300 miles of bike trails that you can use. A lot of them are in really great condition. Volmer Road Woods, which is south of here, and Tinley Creek are the 2 closest bike trails. I have some bike trail maps in the back that I'll probably put right outside on the table when you guys go out for snacks, so you can take a look at those. Georgia Dunn Golf Course, Little Red Schoolhouse, which is a great nature center. Bobolink Tinley Creek Preserves just south of here, and then obviously Camp Sullivan just north of here, canoeing, fishing, Turtlehead Lake, and that's about it. I just wanted to sort of run through that stuff really quickly, remind people we're here, we're interested in having you come out. Your taxes support the forest preserves, and they're here for your benefit. If you have any questions, I'm going to leave my card out front. And you can call me anytime, and please look through our website, take a look at what we can offer you, and that's all I have. Take any questions if anybody has anything they want to ask real quick.
Anybody from the board have any questions? We really appreciate you coming out,
Yeah,
Mr.
thank
O'Leary.
you.
Thank you
Coming
very
out.
much.
Thank you very much for having
Keep
me.
up the good work.
Yeah, I've been
Appreciate
to the zip line course, and I really like what you've done with the camping. I've camped at Bullfrog Lake, and I'd encourage residents to look into the volunteer opportunities as well.
Thank you, Clerk. Mr. Manager? Kevin here? Is he here? Okay. Yeah. Move on to item number 4. At this time, I'd ask for a motion to consider the appointment of Kevin Golmuka to the position of Business Retention Specialist. Moved by Mr. Yonkers.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Glotz. The village conducted a recruitment for the Business Retention Specialist and received a pool of 26 responses. Following interviews with a panel of key department staff, Kevin Golmolka, thank you, earned a master's degree in public administration and bachelor's in political science from Northern Illinois University. His municipal experience includes the village of Carpenterville and DeKalb County Assessor's Office, where he developed strong customer service skills, data analysis, report preparation, and presentation. He previously was a former security officer at St. Alexis Hospital and served in the Army National Guard, where he was deployed to Afghanistan in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. Again, this is to consider appointing Kevin Golmoka as Business Retention Specialist, effective this date. Is there is this roll or all in favor? Is it roll call? Roll call, please.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
So it's official. Kevin, if you'd like to step forward, be recognized and introduced. If you'd like to do that at the podium, we'd like to welcome you to Tinley Park.
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank the members of the board for allowing me to serve in this position. I know it's a very important position, and I'm not going to let you guys down. Equally, I'm also very eager to meet with the members of the Chamber of Commerce and also work with Pat to help foster, more diverse business atmosphere here in the village.
Very good.
So.
Well, thank you very much. We
Well, thank
welcome
you for
you.
having me.
Pat, is there anything you'd like to add, maybe to the public, to expect what a business retention specialist was, their job description, and what we're looking for Kevin to do?
So Kevin's job is to get out and about and try to get the temperature of the businesses in the community, and try to figure out what barriers might be there if they are having a problem growing, so we can remove those barriers. And also try to, hopefully find out what their suppliers and buyers are, so we can use those as a target list to go out and recruit in to bring the companies that our current companies do business with closer to Tinley Park.
Great. So it's a great tool in economic development then.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you very much. Welcome, Kevin. Item 5, receive comments from our staff this evening. Any
Thank you, Mayor.
manager?
A few comments. First of all, I want to mention, follow-up to questions about the mental health center at the last meeting. The developer's total cost, we did reach out to the developer. They confirmed that the total project cost is $350 million estimated. Also wanted to mention that we do have a new express train that Metro will be going from 80th Avenue to Chicago. That was recently approved by Metro. And finally, just to give my thanks to our public safety, public works, as we all know, very tough week last week, weather-wise, and probably one of the toughest for all of our agencies. And we always appreciate their work, but especially during, I think, tough weeks like last week. So that's it.
Thank you, sir. Anything else from staff this evening? Paula?
Just a comment, despite the cold weather, we're seeing a lot of fairly significant building permits come in for application. SIP, who we'll be hearing from later today, has their permit in for review, as does Banging Gavel. So we're going through those reviews and returning comments. Also, the Hillwood spec building out on Prosperi, the $300,000 square foot building, has got 2 tenants looking for build-outs right now, GM Lighting and Home Depot. So we're glad and happy to see those buildings fill up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a reminder that we're gearing up for our Irish Parade on Sunday, March 10th. We have a 1 p.m. one p.m. step-off time. And also let you know that we are, this is our first night utilizing our new camera system. We have a nice new 3-camera, 360-degree camera system with HD capabilities and great pictures of everything going on in the council chambers. So.
Do you hear that? HD. We're your best.
That mean we need makeup now?
Hey, Dave, on the mental health center, how's negotiations going? Have you guys discussed what they're requesting up front?
Well, at this point, we've had initial meetings with the developers. We've also met with the stakeholders, the local school districts and park districts, and a lot of our initial discussion is really around the land plan now, so we have not got into the specifics of the request at this point.
Thanks, Dave.
Anything else from staff this evening? No? Very good. Move on to item 6, receive comments from the public. Mr. Hanneman.
I'm looking for some support. I own house 169-24 Sayre. Every house, mine and all the back lots to the north, all the houses to the north to 168th, all had back lots. When Hanover Place Apartments was built, they bought those back lots and created a giant footprint. They also created a giant debris hill. All the tree stumps, dirt, clay, any old appliances that happened to have been thrown in there were stacked in a pile 150 foot wide, 200 foot long, and 30 foot high. That's been there for 13 years. I've asked several departments to assist me in this, and I'm getting no action. He pays 50 cents a square foot for his tax rate, and that's with the debris hill. I pay $3.75. Since I started complaining about the debris hill, my taxes went up from $288 a year and $400 a year. Currently, they're at $5,000 a year. They put a value of my land at $140,000. My land is not valuable at $140,000. I can't sell the house. I'm getting killed in taxes, and the debris hill remains. So he not only has the debris hill, he's had 13 years, going on 14, of free storage and lack of cleanup. He has since, the owners of Hanover Place Apartments have sold that back area to another person. And what I hear from village people is, he doesn't own it anymore. How could we make the new owner clean it up? The village approved occupancy for Hanover Place Apartments while the debris hill was intact, and it was obvious to everybody the debris hill was created out of the debris that they found. So here we are. Nobody wants to take responsibility for cleaning it up. No one feels obligated to clean it up. I hate to say that the village approved occupancy with it there, with no plans to move it. And I think the village should take some responsibility in enforcing and removal now. Same as if I don't cut my grass, the village comes along and writes me that nice letter saying, your weeds in your back lot are a foot high, John, we're gonna mow it for you and charge you. The debris hill should be removed, and somebody should be charged. The gentleman created his building with a density based on that land footprint, buying all my neighbors' back lots, plus whatever lots he had behind that he had purchased before that, plus the front lot that he built the building on. Since then, he sold everything off. His density is false then. He has a higher density than the land he occupies for his building. Somebody should take responsibility for that. I've done several FOIA requests. I learned the term footprint from a planner when they were building the building. Now when I write the word footprint on my FOIA requests, everybody says they don't know what that means. What's a footprint? Well, a footprint is the total mass of the land, the same as the volume of this room. If that was the buildable space on this volume of room, he sold off that half of the room, and he still built a space that big. It's not accurate. Go ahead, sir. Oh, you looked like you had a question.
Yeah, waiting for you to finish.
Well, I'm going to start repeating myself, so you go ahead.
Have you called the FOIA coordinator, Tarika, to explain what actually footprint is?
I just got my 5th letter back from them, saying they don't understand it, but that's okay. We're gonna keep trying. I'm not the most literate person, but I'm gonna express myself.
I would suggest, Kristen, you should probably take this over for Tarika.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I can speak with her, and I'm sure if you can call and follow up with her, we can resolve it pretty quickly.
Thank you very much.
That's the
I appreciate
FOIA conversation of it. How about the compliance issue?
Yeah, I'm less concerned about the FOIA because we need to resolve the issue. And so we have Kimberly, as our planning manager, is actually spearheading this, and she can certainly speak to this, but I know that she has assembled a team between engineering, public works, our consulting engineer, even talking to our previous building official to try to get some history on the project. So she is looking into this. It's not quite as quickly as we have a lot of documents that we need to go through and people that were here. Unfortunately, there's been a fairly significant turnover in personnel, so many of us were not here when this occurred, but we will get to the bottom of
It
it.
affects me personally every time I pay that $5,000 tax bill for a piece of land that I grow mosquitoes, grass, and trees on.
Did you leave
Yeah.
your name and number with Lisa in the front row?
Absolutely.
We have
You know,
it,
and I've
sir.
spoke to Kimberly, and let me
Yeah.
tell you, she's a true professional, and she's very good. I got nothing but good things to say about her. So,
Thank
I
you.
know she's working hard on it, but I thought I had to.
Well, it's
Light
the
a
first time
fire.
hearing of it, so I appreciate you
Thank
letting us
you.
know. and
Thank you,
it's,
sir.
Certainly get on top of it.
Appreciate your time, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. The gentleman behind you, and then go ahead, sir, then you're, yeah, Mr. Janowski, sure.
Hello, Mayor, how are you?
Good, sir.
Good evening, Board. Reason I have concern, I just want to kind of bring up something that we're seeing a lot of development that's happening in the area, which is good. In the past couple of years, we've seen some projects that have come through the Plan Commission, approved by the board. The concern, what I'm getting from a lot of residents, as far as using skilled labor, using labor that is trained, qualified, productivity, profitability for the contractors. We've had a project that had come up that was, the developer was Holiday Properties. And this was the Wood Springs development that was approved, I believe it was back in August of 2016. The Plan Commission, anything that actually comes through any of the boards, being the zoning, being the plan, or here, or through permitting and approval through the board, if the development is detrimental to the community, we don't pass it or we don't give it a permit. Or part of that is on the labor side of it, if we're not using local labor, it's a key component. A lot of the residents here are affiliated with the union. And I'm speaking on behalf of all the building trades. And I'm asking for the board to consider sitting down with the building trades and come to some type of resolution to put them on a bidders list so we can utilize local labor. Going back to the Holiday development, it was asked if it was going to be done with area standard wages or area standards. Another Commissioner Domina had asked if it was going to be built union. The developer that was speaking was Duffy Phelps, had said that yes, it would be done 95% union. Well, that's good because you're using local labor. When it come down to building that project, all the cars were from Indiana. So that means that disposable income that doesn't stay goes to another state. That robs the residents. So I'd like to ask you, Mayor, if we could sit down with the building trades and your leadership team, come up with contractors lists that are qualified, but to use local labor in this community. So you're putting the local residents to work. I think that's something that everybody could agree upon, but the problem is it never happens. I seen one of the agenda items here, this Top Tech, looking for a tax break. Just Googling them, doing a little research. I don't think, one of the prerequisites, what happens, it's not very good. Not to go into detail with it, but giving something a break that, does it really benefit us? If this is a out-of-town contractor, are they putting local residents to work? It doesn't do anything. It hurts more than helps. So I'd like to sit down, or at least set up a meeting. Who would I talk to as far as that, making that happen?
Send me an email, Mr. Janowski, and we'll get something set up. But
Excuse
definitely-
me?
Just send me an email and we'll get something set up.
Okay.
Absolutely have an open door when it comes to that.
Okay, thank you, Jake.
Because we also could pass a resolution as well for,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's something that should be considered in committee as a whole, and putting something together with, incorporating prevailing wage, area standards, or this big project that's happening over here at the health center. You got some national builders over here. That M&I Homes over here, you look them up, not a good track record. Their last development, 2 deaths, a lot of safety issues. The Romeoville had some problems. So those are little things. I'm not here to throw anybody under the bus
All right.
as far as contractors, but I think it's great. I'm talking and speaking on behalf of a lot of the residents who are skilled in every trade. So,
Pretty sure we all agree with you on that, sir.
Don't we have a prevailing wage ordinance? And I know that guy, I
that's on
think you said
public,
he was.
you
gonna use
got the
union
public,
guys.
but, we're seeing a lot with misclassifications where contractors are paying cash. So state's being robbed, the community's being robbed. And, we have a lot of our agents that have boots to the ground going to these sites, and they're not local plates.
yeah, we passed a resolution came out of our committee for cell towers, which now is done by Local 134.
Yeah.
We could
Well,
also, we could work on something like that.
At least give us the opportunity, even coming out to all our training centers, it's a career pathway. It's a great way to get, kids involved in the trades, and it's not a job. So it's something to really see, and I think it opens up a lot of eyes if you give the building trades an opportunity to come out to their training facilities and see what we're all about, so.
That's good.
Okay?
Look forward to your email. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dylan. I'm sure you've heard this before, but I have concerns and I'm looking for a solution. I have concerns along with, I believe, 36 other homes. There is a club that I'm sure you guys all know of called Intimos. It used to be a nice martini bar. It is not anymore. It's underneath me. I live directly above it. My neighbors don't like it. There has been shootings. There's been multiple fights in the parking lot. There's suspicious activity. And just like this gentleman said, he doesn't cut his grass. He gets fined for it. The nuisance ordinance, Chapter 98, states almost everything from business shall be conducted in a quiet, mannerly order, and they do not. I'm looking for suggestions or your feelings or a compromise on how we can get them to quiet it down. It's 7 days a week. They have music bumping all night long underneath me, from people screaming in the parking lot to directly in my living room. Just like everyone else here, I work all day long, and I come home to a club, to a nightclub. I do not believe it should be underneath 36 homes. It's kind of my concerns, and I'm looking for solutions and strategies or what we can do. I'm sure you guys have heard about it before. So.
Well, in the Liquor Commissioner's office, I've obviously seen all the complaints. I've read the liquor incident reports. It's something, it's a conversation we're having with the police department at this point on a weekly basis. Council as well. I mean, we've had several discussions and meetings over this, and we've had an agreed order in place with the establishment that they have to abide by particular stipulations that we set forth. We both agreed upon. To this point, they are following the agreed order.
What is
In
the
reference to
agreed order?
the nuisance aspect of it, again, that's been something that the police department has been monitoring. They have done routine checks with a decibel reading, not just there. I mean, that's been throughout Finley Park. They do that, on a weekly basis. Typically, they'll do a round. So those have all been documented and reported. Anytime there's been any type of egregious change of decibel, that obviously we're getting a report on that, and Chief, you probably could opine on that or discuss a little bit more on that. Obviously, we understand it's a big concern of yours. I've spoken to a couple of residents over there, and we're doing our best to make something.
I know,
palatable
I'm
for
sure
everybody.
the taxes from it are quite well from a business like that. They are packed every single night, but that is also part of the problem, that they're packed every single night. And
Sure.
I believe that they should not be underneath that many homes.
Understood.
It
Chief?
just, Dylan, he just made his complaint last week. He was bringing up the older issues. So we were unaware of the noise that was happening in his place until last week. I talked to him on the phone. We talked at length earlier today, and we're just going to continue with dialogue, and we're going to go over there. We're going to monitor. That's all we can do. His complaint's only a week old, although we know it's an ongoing situation, so.
Yeah, I would just
Yeah.
continue to
He's got
urge
my
to
number.
call
We're
and
gonna
make
work it
those,
out.
make those complaints, because our police department could obviously get a call for service on that and show up to the establishment and
Yeah.
make sure that everything's in an orderly fashion. Particularly, my concerns are the outside aspect of it. If there's disorder outside, that's something that we want to make sure that we nip in the bud.
Yeah, the reason my complaints are only a week old is I moved in about 6.5 months ago. And at first I met with Mark because I wanted to know who was underneath me. I met with my neighbors, and I got his phone number, and me and him were exchanging text messages. Every time he was loud, I'd tell him to turn it down. And for the first 2 months, he kind of listened to me. He would turn it down, but half hour later, I'd hear it come right back up. You could hear it like clockwork. And so then I decided, I was going to come to you guys and talk with the police. And so that's why my complaints are fairly new. But I have family that are police officers, and I don't want to see this get out of hand down there, because they've already had shootings. I watched a girl run over 3 other girls with her car on Halloween night in the parking lot. I'm sure you guys heard about that. And what if that's going to be my family member or my mom or someone you guys know? Because we didn't do anything about them.
All I could say is to just continue to issue your complaints to the police department for calls for service. We're going to continue our dialogue on our end, make sure that they're following the letter of the law. And
Yep.
I understand your complaints, and I think everybody up here can appreciate that. And we're trying to rectify the situation and try to find a resolve in some capacity.
Okay.
And we're going to be meeting, we already discussed,
Yep.
we're probably going to be meeting early this week, maybe tomorrow even, and go over
Okay.
some of the things. I got to look at some of the video as well.
Sure. Thank you, Dylan.
Thank you for
Appreciate
your
it.
time.
Thanks.
Welcome to Tinley, by the way.
Yeah.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm just going to, one other question, or just a comment. Back in the January meeting, you said that one of the reasons we picked Melody Square was because they're going to start spending money. Do they know in 6 months that they can't get that back once this ends?
Are you asking me what they know? I mean,
Yeah.
they have counsel, they have the contract.
All right.
They have very good counsel.
So is it in their interest to close the deal before 6 months is up?
I'm not going to speak to their interests.
Is
I
it
mean,
the
that's not
village's, does the village want to close the deal before 6 months is up?
Manager, you want to?
Well, yeah, I think the resolution basically gave both sides to negotiate for 6 months. So our goal is to come back to the board within those 6 months with the parameters of an agreement, and the board could choose to accept it, extend it, or not accept it. So-
Would that be like a 1 meeting, 2 meeting deal type?
You know, at this point, we haven't even started talking about the parameters of the agreement, so as to
That's
when.
fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And also, the Park District guy, 1843. What's that? Forest Preserve, sorry.
Yeah.
I was listening somewhat, you'll see that. 1843, visionaries, right? Hey, let's protect some of the areas. And as the visionary leaders of Tinley Park, what are we gonna do with the Tinley Park Medical Health Center? Encapsulate it, put homes there? I mean, that's not vision. That doesn't do anything for the businesses, and that brings up this guy. When you go out there, talk to him. Say, hey, 800 senior homes or something that's gonna bring in a lot of people, bring in a lot of tax dollars for us. I don't know. I'm sure Nancy will talk about it too. But visionaries is what we want. Visionaries is what this town needs. We need a win. Cook County needs a win. The state needs a win. And we could do that. You guys could do that here. So thank you to the forest guy for bringing that up. And hopefully, when you go home tonight, think about it. Think 40 years ahead. Think 50 years ahead. What's going to be out there on the Tinley Park Medical Health Center? Aging apartments, homes, and what if you tear those down? You have to, it's just a mess. It could be a mess. So just, when you go home over the weekend, think about the future of Tinley Park, because that's what we elected for.
And his name is Charles. Speaking of the mental health center, Pat, I had a question on that. Mr. Janowski had a good point. If they're requesting $69 million in incentives, regardless of whatever that number is, whether it's 60, turns to 80, whatever that is, would that possibly make that whole project then fall under prevailing wage? How do you, if they're getting tax dollars to build that project, how do you separate the two?
TIF dollars, is a little more complicated when you're dealing with straight prevailing wage. It'd probably take me 20 minutes to go through it all with you, but it doesn't automatically make it all prevailing wage. But a lot of times, those types of things are handled in the agreement themselves. If there's a desire from this board to have certain types of labors used, I can tell you that, what I've seen, developers don't want all the time being told what labor to use, everything like that. But it's happened on big projects. It happens all the time. But those are the things that we have to negotiate with them down the road. So to answer your question, TIF money doesn't automatically mean you have to use prevailing wage. There still depends on what they're doing, who they're doing it for, what the reimbursement's for, things like that, so.
Well, we could even consider, like you said, during the agreement portion, doing a project labor agreement of some sort. Those are all things that we could handle. I mean, again, back to your point, the developer isn't going to want to be told what to do, but then again, when we're talking about dollar amounts the way that we're talking about, we need to make sure that we're considering all options. So, and again, I think it's part of probably the conversation that we could have with the project teams.
Thanks, Pat. Thank you. For the 1-minute version.
We'll talk more later.
Good evening. Today, February 5th, Senator Michael Hastings introduced or sponsored 2 bills. One of them is asking the new governor and the Department of Central Management Services to conduct 3 independent appraisals for the Tinley Park Mental Health Center. The other was asking them to conduct an environmental study at the cost of the state and properly identify any and all environmental issues related to the mental health center. First of all, obviously the appraisals cannot take place until after the environmental studies are completed. I hope Senator Hastings realizes that. The last thing concerning that is, unfortunately, that falls short, very, very short. I would hope this board would urge Senator Hastings to also sponsor a bill to force the state of Illinois to clean up the Tinley Park Mental Health Center, since they are the ones that contaminated it. Although this is a start, I would urge our board to contact him and ask him to introduce that bill as well. In going through the agenda today, I'm seeing that Tetra Tech says they'll be coming back to the board with a request to update the Phase 2 study after this report is complete, or they could be. I think that's an obvious that that's going to need to take place. It's a little too, and I think they spoke to that last week at the meeting, and I agree that a full testing would be necessary in order to understand fully the environmental contamination that's occurred right now. As I went through some of the other things in here, the Phase 2 would be necessary because of the USTs, the underground storage tanks, the conditions of the transformers, other wrecks that may not have been identified, other hazardous materials, mercury, the lime pit. The other issue, of course, is the wetlands. I would urge Tetra Tech to test the waters at the ditch east of the fence line on Harlem Avenue that run up to 183rd. We don't know what the water table is, the height of the water table, and that is the runoff from the Tinley Park Mental Health Center from the water table into the sewer systems, into the Midlothian Creek that runs right through our town, into the CalSag, probably one of the most contaminated bodies of water in the United States. So I would really urge that that area be tested. The other thing is, and I'm probably going to go over, can one of you tell me when the Public Works building was built and the police station over on anyone know?
John?
Kev?
Facilities.
78? Okay, and 99 for the police station? 98? Was that land given to us by the state?
We rented it for the first part, $1,000 a year, and then
Okay.
it was donated when we did it 52 acres from the Parks and Streets took over.
Okay, was that part of the Tinley Park Mental Health Center at one time?
It was. Was it?
Okay, okay, Brad, I'm gonna believe Brad because he's been here the longest. So it was part of the Tinley Park Mental Health Center. So there's a wetland behind the Tinley Park, or behind the Public Works building, that I think needs to be included in the Tetra Tech report. It needs to be tested. There could be runoff from the mental health center. Who knows? What was it before? Was it a dump? What were they throwing there? I think our employees at the Public Works and the police department deserve to have that area tested. If we're going to do this, expand the test to include that. I think their safety needs to be taken into account with this. How long? We don't know. That's the biggest issue here. We don't know what's there. We don't know what the state of Illinois did. We don't know what they dumped. We don't know what else Tetra Tech is going to find. We need to make this an all-encompassing study and make sure that every area is covered. The liability on this is massive. It is massive. So now I've not only talked to an environmental engineer with the EPA, I've also spoken with an attorney with the federal EPA. You start moving around dirt, and that asbestos alone, if that goes airborne, the liability is massive. I cannot stress enough that we have to be so careful with this. And the most important thing I'm going to say is, all of you, I hope you'll call Senator Hastings tomorrow and tell him to sponsor a new bill. Force the state to clean it up.
Good evening. The state owns the mental health center. The state created the mess. The state needs to pay for the environmental testing, not the taxpayers of Tinley Park. Thank you.
Excuse me 1 second. Dave, were we notified of this bill that was sponsored?
I received notification from our lobbyist just an hour or so ago.
An hour.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Mayor Vandenberg, welcome back from your sabbatical.
You too.
Concerning the BKD report that was edited, I believe Trustee Yunker did more than make mention of the report. How does a lawyer for a contractor get detailed information of what was exactly in the report? We were told it was a draft at one time. Mayor Vandenberg, was the draft written on January 22nd of 18, do you know? If it was a draft?
I don't have any documents in front of me, Mr. Stuckleader, to give you a
Okay.
direct answer.
The lawyer mentions page 26 in the January 2nd report, and then he refers to page 14 of the June 7th report. So how does this lawyer get a hold of the report if there was only making mention of, Trustee Yunker? Did you give him any of the
I
report?
didn't give anybody any reports, Mr.
So
Stuckler.
how do we have no
You'd have to
idea,
ask him.
we have no idea how the lawyer got it?
You'd have to ask him.
So are we going to set a precedent now that when the village is threatened in a lawsuit caused by an elected official, maybe like Trustee Yunker acting unethically and with reckless abandon, that he will edit a report or drop it, or we will edit a report or drop an investigation for fear of being sued? Is that where we're going to go now?
That question, Mr. Tuckley, I didn't hear it. Can you repeat it?
If we get threatened by a lawyer, are we just going to just edit a report or not do an investigation for fear of being
First,
sued?
let me try to answer that in a couple ways.
Sure.
Number one, nobody up here edited a report. There was a contractor that gave this village draft reports and other reports. Nobody up here edited a report. That's their report. They were hired to do a report. What they gave the village is what they gave the village. We're still looking into it. I'm, more so on the process at the front end, but my firm's looking into it. We'll have a report for this board. Ultimately, this board hired that contractor, and that's the work they gave. So to say that we edited a report based on a threat.
I thought it was mentioned.
Thought what was mentioned?
That it was edited by, not by me, by somebody else.
You just said the word edited. I just want to make it very clear that this board was not done by any.
I think it
any
was
board
changed,
member.
not edited, but I'm just using the word edited.
Whichever word you want to use, it wasn't done by this board. That's the only point I'm trying.
I didn't say board.
Okay. Well, you're saying, are we going to change reports every time a lawsuit
No.
is threatened?
Are
That was
we
the
going to
question.
drop? Are we going to drop and invest, or not even investigate?
That wasn't the
Because,
question.
okay, but there was
All
no
right, let's
investigation. of
Just
the
finish
BK.
up your comments, please.
Oh, I still got a minute 12.
I said just
Yeah.
finish up your comments.
Yeah.
There's not a reason to get into dialogue back and forth, question and answering.
All right. I'm still going to say the edited BKD report. That's on the village website does not tell the truth. It looks like everything is fine on the up and up in Tinley Park, and it's not, because according to this lawyer, he's gotten a report by evidently by BKD. He's got detailed reports. We don't know what are in the reports. One more thing, Trustee Yunker. I really think that you should resign. You shamed yourself. You shamed our village.
Mr.
I'm
Stuckley,
glad for
please
your
stop.
opinion, Mr. Stuckley, but I
That's
don't
enough.
believe in any of your opinions.
You're mentioned in 3 different police reports in 3
Mr.
different
Stuckley, in a
towns.
public meeting, Mr. Stuckley, have some respect.
I can go back.
Whatever, Mr. Stuckley. Good night.
Is there anything else for public comment before we proceed? Let the record reflect there is none. We'll move on to item number 7. Thank you. This time I'd ask for a motion to consider approval of the following consent agenda items. There's such a motion.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the items.
Item A, consider ordinance 2019-0-003, rescinding and adopting new flood regulations for the Village of Tinley Park. Item B, consider payment of impact fees in the amount of $11,400 to Kirby School District 140 from the escrow fund. Item C, consider payment of impact fees in the amount of $1,475 to the Tinley Park Park District from the escrow fund. Item D, consider request from Les Turner ALS Foundation to conduct a tag day on Saturday, May 11th, 2019, at certain intersections in the Village of Tinley Park. Item E, consider request from Park Lawn to conduct tag days on Friday, April 12th, Saturday, April 13th, Friday, April 19th, and Saturday, April 20th, 2019, at certain intersections in the Village of Tinley Park. Item F, consider request from American Legion Post 615 to conduct a raffle on Sunday, March 10th, 2019, with the winner being drawn at the post 17423 67th Court on that day. Item G, consider request from American Legion Post 615 to conduct a raffle on Sunday, March 10th, 2019, with the winner being drawn at the post 17423 67th Court on that day. And lastly, item H, payment of outstanding bills in the amount of $1,798,023.14 as listed on the vendor board approval report dated January 18th, 2019, January 25th, 2019, and February 21st, 2019.
Thank you, Clerk. Does any board member care to remove any of these items?
No.
The reflect there's none. Please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
Consent has been approved. Thank you. Item 8, at this time, before we proceed, as it's been mentioned this evening in public comment and also by our village manager, this evening before our meeting, we are notified that our state senator, Michael Hastings, introduced a Senate resolution going over about the Tinley Park Mental Health Center and requesting the governor to act in his capacity to move along the 3 appraisal processes as well as enter the state into an environmental study. That being said, there's still a lot more that we need to learn about this bill, but I'm asking that we ask for a motion from somebody on our dais here to postpone this item indefinitely. So is there such a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor to postpone indefinitely, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. We are postponing item 8 indefinitely. Thank you.
Did you
Item-
receive an email?
I did. I'm sure it'll be fine. There's a copy of it right here.
Can you forward it on?
The manager could forward it. He got the same email. Item number 9, Trustee Berg.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to consider adopting ordinance number 2019-0-007, supporting a Class 6B real estate tax assessment application by Top Tech Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical for commercial development located at 17620 Duvon Drive, Tinley Park, Illinois, Tinley Park, Cook County, Illinois.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been approved. Go ahead.
The discussion, this ordinance provides support for the Cook County Class 6B incentive, which reduces the tax assessment ratio for the property at 17620 Duvon Drive from 25% to 10% for a 10-year period. The property is located in the Duvan Drive Industrial Park and therefore meets the target development area incentive policy requirement. This project also meets the goals and objectives for encouraging redevelopment in Tinley Park as set forth by the Economic and Commercial Commission and the Village Board of Trustees in previous meetings. The Economic Development and Marketing Committee and the Economic and Commercial Commission have discussed and recommended approval for this request. This ordinance is eligible for adoption.
Thank you, trustee Berg. Any comments from the board this evening?
I have a question. Isn't the 6B, I know they have the ordinance with the wage, the Cook County, you know, is there also a union provision in that 6B? Pat, I know we asked, is there a union labor provision or a local labor like the guy was talking about? I know we asked about it in the committee.
Not from the village specifically.
But from the county.
I believe if the county is giving out any tax incentive these days, I believe they're requiring their minimum wage standards, their
Right.
prevailing wage standards, and things like that. But that, the next step in the 6B process, you know, remember, we're supporting their application to Cook County. Ultimately, the Cook County Board approves or denies
It's a
this.
building that's been vacant for a long time.
Agreed,
It needs to be.
So those factors, whatever the county requires, and I believe you're right, I know that, I haven't looked at it in a few months, but you remember there was a certain amount of media that President Prenkwinkle had when she did announce that tax incentives will come with those strings. If that, I believe that's still to be the case, and if that is the case, that'll be part of their presentation to the Cook County Board. And one of the factors is they need a resolution of support from the village. That's what this is.
Any other questions? Excuse me. Nope. Please call the roll.
Trustee Alker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item number 10, trustee Berg.
I'd like to make a motion to consider adopting resolution number 2019-R-006, approving and awarding an Oak Park Avenue Code Compliance Grant and an Oak Park Avenue Retail Grant to SIP Wine Bar located at 17424 Oak Park Avenue. Neil Homich, owner, who was with us this evening.
Thank you, trustee Berg. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
The discussion is this ordinance approves a retail and code compliance Oak Park Playbook grant for H&J Holdings Limited Liability Corporation. Planned improvements for the 17424 Oak Park Avenue will include a restaurant, 2 patios, and an addition including a residential unit. The total matching grants will not exceed $70,000. The Economic Development and Marketing Committee and the Economic and Commercial Commissions have discussed and recommended approval of the proposed resolution. The resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you, trustee Berg. Any comments from the board? I would just like to make a mention that I believe this is our first grant out of the Oak Park Avenue Playbook.
It is.
So hats off to our staff, to the commissions, and most importantly, the business that has seen the opportunity that this village has put forth to invest in our downtown. And really, Neil, we really thank you for being a part of the vision that was mentioned this evening, to bring the community and downtown into the what we are visioning as being the crown jewel of downtowns in Tinley Park. So congratulations to you and your team, and really appreciate it. Cindy, thank you very much for spearheading this as well.
No, thank you.
Everybody else care to
Okay.
comment on that? This is up for adoption, expenditure funds. Please call the roll.
Trustee Alker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Trustee Berg, busy night.
Item number 11, consider adoption, I'd like to make a motion considering adoption ordinance number 2019-0-008, designating an area in the village of Tinley Park, Cook and Will Counties, Illinois, commonly known as 159th and Harlem, as blighted.
So moved.
It's been seconded.
The discussion is, this ordinance provides support for a special designated area along Harlem, south of 159th Street, that meets the blighted area qualifications set forth in the definitions, in the Tax Increment Allocation Redevelopment Act. This area will be eligible for Cook County's class special reclassification incentives, classes 6, 7, and 8, which reduces the tax assessment ratio from 25% to 10% for a 10-year period. This project meets the goals and objectives for encouraging redevelopment in Tinley Park as set forth by the Economic and Commercial Commission and the Village Board of Trustees in the Economic Development Strategic Plan. The Economic Development and Marketing Committee and Economic and Commercial Commission have discussed and recommended approval of this designation. This ordinance is eligible for adoption. Sorry.
You okay on there? Any comments from the board? Again, Pat, nice job on this. Hopefully this is another tool to stimulate some much-needed development down there, redevelopment in that corridor, so. Eligible for adoption, roll call?
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you. Item 12, trustee Berg.
I'd like to make a motion considering adopting ordinance number 2019-0-009, designating an area in the village of Tinley Park, Cook and Will Counties, Illinois, commonly known as 179th and LaGrange, as blighted.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved.
Discussion, this ordinance provides for a special designated area along LaGrange Road north of 183rd Street that meets the blighted area qualifications set forth in the definitions in the Tax Increment Allocation Redevelopment Act. This area will be eligible for Cook County's special reclassification incentives, Class 6, 7, and 8, which reduces the tax assessment ratio from 25% to 10% for a 10-year period. This project meets the goals and objectives for encouraging redevelopment in Tinley Park as set forth by the Economic and Commercial Commission and the Village Board of Trustees in the Economic Development Strategic Plan. The Economic Development and Marketing Committee and the Economic and Commercial Commission have discussed and recommended approval of this designation. This ordinance is eligible for adoption.
Thank you, trustee Berg. Any comments from the board regarding this item? Let the record reflect there's none. Please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
Pardon me, I'm sorry. The motion will carry. Item 13, trustee Kern.
A motion, consider adopting Resolution 2019-R-008, authorizing a professional service agreement between the Village of Tinley Park and Municipal GIS Partners Incorporated.
Second?
The proposed contract is an annual agreement with GIS Consortium Service Provider Municipal GIS Partners. The current agreement will expire April 30th, 2019, to coincide with the village's fiscal year. The village has the right to terminate the agreement upon 30 days written notice to the service provider. The funds for this expenditure expected to be $205,421 for the fiscal year are included in the upcoming fiscal year budget. Pursuant to Section 5.2 of the GIS contract, this statement of work shall extend the services for an additional one-year period. This renewal term shall commence on May 1, 2019, and remain in effect until April 30th, 2020. In addition, monthly usage reports are provided to the village board to confirm utilization of the GIS data by staff and the public. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Any questions of the board? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
Item number 14, I'd like to make a motion to consider adopting ordinance number 2019-0-004, increasing the number of Class AV liquor licenses that can be issued in the village. Sip Wine Bar Incorporated located at 17424 Oak Park Avenue.
Second?
The proposed ordinance would increase the Class AV liquor license by one. The applicant is proposing to operate a wine bar at 17424 Oak Park Avenue. The Class AV liquor license allows for the retail sale of alcohol beverages for consumption on the premise, as well as allowing video gaming. The respective license will be for the following business and locations. Sip Wine Bar, 17424 Oak Park Avenue. With this license, video gaming is permitted at this location. Upon approval of this ordinance, the total number of AV liquor licenses would be 14. This ordinance was discussed at the Administrative and Legal Committee meeting held on January 29, 2019, and recommended for approval. This ordinance is eligible for adoption. Have a roll call, please.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Chance you can do this good.
Yeah, I just wanted to say nothing against this business. I'm excited about what you're bringing and what you're doing in that location. Just not real excited about the spread of these gaming machines. I'm a no.
Yeah, well,
Before the
we need
roll
to
call,
for
can you open it up for conversation?
Thanks.
No.
I apologize for stepping out. I had a work call.
I had a question for you, Neil. Would you be willing to, at the committee meeting, you said that you wouldn't be putting, it would be in the open, the gaming. Would you be willing to have doors?
Neil, if you wouldn't mind, if you want to step up and just answer the questions directly from the podium, thank you.
But you could have a party.
Yeah, we could have private parties. In that case, I would consider doing something to block that off. But during normal hours, we're not looking to invite anybody under 21. That's just not something we want to get involved in.
I just want to double check.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Any other questions for Neil? No? Okay, sorry.
Thank you, Neil.
It's been moved and seconded. Can we call a roll, please?
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
No.
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Glatz?
No. Or,
Trustee.
I'm sorry, yes.
Trustee Curran?
Yes.
Motion carries. So it's 5-1, right? Correct. Item 15. This time, I'd ask for a motion to consider adopting ordinance number 2019-0-005, increasing the number of Class EV liquor licenses that can be issued in the village for Mickey's Ribs and Euros located at 17432 Oak Park Avenue. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved by trustee Yonker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Curran. Thank you. The proposed ordinance would increase the Class EV liquor license by 1. The applicant currently operates a fast dining restaurant at the above-mentioned address. The Class EV liquor license allows for the retail sale of alcoholic beverages for consumption on the premises, as well as allow for video gaming. The respective license will be for the following business and location. Again, Mickey's Ribs and Euros, 17432 Oak Park Ave. With this license, video gaming is permitted at this location. Upon approval of this ordinance, a total number of Class EV liquor licenses would be 7. This ordinance was discussed at the Administration and Legal Committee held on January 29, 2019, and recommended for approval. And if I may add, because I was not present at that meeting, the fine business owners at Mickey's have been a staple in Oak Park Avenue. And to categorize them as fast dining, I have a hard time believing in that because I believe it's fine dining at sometimes. If anybody's looking for the best Euro in town, our friends at Mickey's provide an excellent choice. But besides that, they've also been extremely critical in investing in Oak Park Avenue. For most of us that have been here our entire lives, we remember the original Mickey's on Oak Park, just a little bit north of their current location. Or pardon me, yeah, it would be a little bit north of where you're currently at. And then watch them expand into the beautiful restaurant they currently have. So for me, this is a fairly simple thing. I think this is procedural at best, allowing for a business to continue to thrive and provide excellent food and service to our residents in Tinley. And I really appreciate that, I know the gentlemen are here, for being such great partners in restaurant industry in Tinley Park, and more importantly, for believing in investing in Tinley Park. So really appreciate it. Thank you very much, gentlemen. This is up for adoption this evening. Go ahead and call the roll, please.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
I likewise think
It's just
they're a
a
great business
vote.
and an asset to
Trustee
the
Pino,
town,
just a vote.
But no.
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Glatz?
Why is there no comments?
Beg your pardon?
You-
I called
Mike was
comments
trying
and
to-
I called a comment and that's why I spoke.
You didn't open it up for comments. You just went right
Do you have
to a
something
roll
to add to the record, sir?
Go ahead, Mike.
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, I did. Problem I have with this is, yes, they are a great business. And as far as the additional revenue, I'm not a fan of places where kids are of having gaming. If it was in a sealed room, maybe like Rocco's, they did it. Theirs is really professional. You know, sorry, I go there, I go there as well, but I'm just not a fan of allowing gaming where children are. So I'm a no.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Curran?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Trustee
Brady.
Brady.
Got another vote.
Was it Brady? It was,
Recall the roll.
just recall the roll, I'm sorry.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
No.
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Glatz?
No.
Trustee Curran?
Yes.
Yeah, I got it. Recalled it. Thank you, clerk. That motion carries. Thank you. Item 16, this time I'd ask for a motion to consider adopting ordinance number 2019-0-006, increasing the number of Class A and S liquor licenses that can be issued in the village to Banging Gables Brews located at 6811 Hickory Street. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. The proposed ordinance would increase the Class A liquor license by 1 and the Class S liquor license by 1. The applicant is proposing to operate a restaurant and brewery at 6811 West Hickory Street. The Class A liquor license allows for the retail sale of alcoholic beverages for consumption on the premise only. Class S liquor license allows for the operation of a brew pub. Video gaming is not permitted with either license. The respective license will be for the following business. Again, Banging Gable Brews, 6811 West Hickory Street. Video gaming is not permitted at this location. Upon approval of this ordinance, the total number of Class A liquor licenses will be 24, and the total number of Class S liquor licenses will be 1. The ordinance was discussed at the Admin and Legal Committee held on January 29, 2019, and was recommended for approval. This is up for adoption. Does anybody from the board care to comment? Let the record reflect there is none. Please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Glatz?
Yes.
Trustee Curran?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 17, receive comments from the board.
I have something to say, Jake. The, Tetra Tech item that you tabled, I don't know when you made that determination, but if you made the determination before the meeting, I wish we would have called the contractor, because he drove all the way out here and
He was already here, sir.
okay. Then the other thing I wanted to mention is there's comments out there that I think you're well aware of in regards to the firehouse, stating that I want to privatize the fire department. Just want to go on record and make it very clear, I am 100% against privatizing the fire department. I grew up as a kid, my dad was a paramedic, used to get $1 a call. And that would be the last thing that I would ever do. I just want to put that to rest. Thank you.
I'd like to congratulate Patrick Coban on his award of 40 under 40. Thank you, Patrick. Great job.
You're here. You want to give him an official round of applause? There you go.
Oh, no, we're joining me.
Get a signed copy of the paper.
Made it by 1 month.
Copies outside.
Anybody else care to comment? No, I would just echo what the manager led off with by saying to all of our departments that were part of the fire rescue and scenarios we had last week, all the elements that we battled in the public works, police, fire, with the snow and ice and frigid cold temperatures. Really a true testament to the strength of our village and our employees and the fortitude for providing excellent service. So hats off to all the men and women that represent those departments. Thank you very much. And I think that's all I have. I don't have anything else. Oh, I take that back. I do have one other thing to add. Received a letter looks like end of January. It was titled to myself and the Board of Trustees. I'm not going to read the entire length of it, but it was a letter to congratulate and thank the board and our marketing department, public works department for the fantastic job for the holiday lighting on Oak Park Avenue. This resident goes on to say that she was inspired and appreciated everything that was done for it. So to the woman that wrote the letter to the board and myself, we really appreciate the accolades, but really it's the department heads and department employees that do all the work. And we completely agree, it was a beautiful display of Christmas lights and Christmas feeling. So thank you for the letter. I'll make a copy and pass this along to the board.
One other thing to add then, Jake.
You
Dave, what is the passing of the bill by Senator Hastings? What does this do to this Melody project now timetable? Because this goes against everything that was going on, and we have a special meeting, and now seems like we're going backwards.
Well, again, I just saw it an hour or so ago, so my goal is to call the lobbyists tomorrow and try to get more information on it.
Yeah, this is horrible. I mean, all these contractors that put all this time and work into it, now we have a bill going the opposite way.
And I'll find out again.
You could feel free to call the senator tomorrow and show your disgust and what he's doing. I mean,
You got the
I
direct line.
think
I'll leave
that,
to you.
I think that what the board did tonight to postpone the expenditure of funds on something that at this point doesn't seem that we need to do is the most diligent and responsible thing to do.
Okay, so why do we have the January 3rd meeting then?
Well, Mike, it's completely impossible for me to foresee what's gonna happen in the future. Again, the
That was based on
resolution,
conversations that
the
you
resolution,
had pushing this forward, Jake?
the resolution was sent to the village manager and myself before the village board meeting, and had barely enough time to read it, let alone to put any more thought into it. So I think the board did the exact thing that we should do tonight, which was to make a decision to postpone any other discussion for environmental conversations until we're able to fully understand what the city of Illinois is preparing to do, period.
I thought we already
If there's
had
nothing else on the
conversations.
board, I'd ask that we continue on and adjourn to executive session. Is there a motion to adjourn executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We're going to adjourn to discuss A, the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body, including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired. B, collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives or deliberation concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees. C, litigation when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which case the basis for the finding shall be recorded and entered into the minutes of the closed meeting. It's been properly moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Trustee Panito? Trustee Burke?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Glatz?
Yes.
Trustee Curran?
Yes.
Motion will carry. Will be in closed session. Thank you. Have a good evening. Drive safely. I heard the roads are slippery.
Thank you.